Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today? Yes, sir. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for the round of applause. Calm down. I know it's Friday. How's everybody feeling out there today? Yes, today is Friday, so your weekend should be upon you and all the good things should be happening this weekend. So if it's Friday for you, then, be ready to be safe out there. Enjoy your weekend. You're almost there at the end of your work shift. If you are on the East Coast, it's 2:30. If you're on the West Coast, it is 11:30. So just keep pushing through. And like always, if you're on the central time frame in the U.S., it is 1:30 for you. So everybody's almost there at the end of their work week. Unless you got to work this weekend, then, you might as well push through because it might not be that great for you. For some people, it's their Friday. For some people, it could be their Tuesday or Wednesday or Monday, just depending on how your work shift is. But either or, I'm here for you. And if it's like the middle of your week or the beginning of your week starting Friday, well, then it'll be all right. You'll make it through. I promise. You'll make it through. But the good thing is, regardless of how everything looks, let Mr. Child tell it to you.
Oh, you're having a bad day? Did you die?
I got shot.
But did you die?
Exactly. And if you didn't, then just be grateful that you're here, you're above ground and able to see another day in life and all that goodness. So yes, yes, yes. Enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it. It's Friday if you made it through the week, man, and you got your workout in, you did all your training. If you could do your checklist for the week, did you check off all your boxes? Did you work out every day? Did you accomplish all your goals, your tasks you had to do every day? Is this week a fully productive week for you? Did you accomplish all your goals, or did you kind of bitch up and, your fifis got in the way? You didn't feel like doing this on Tuesday, and I didn't feel this on Wednesday, and then I pushed this off until Thursday. Don't have no more weeks like that. You know what I mean? Push through and grind through, and then on the weekend you can chill, depending on what day your Friday falls on. Because like I said, some people Fridays are different. But yes, yes, yes. With that being said, we have a good show for you today. We have a good one for you today, man. We're going to go over our usual topics, but before we start, just know we are simultaneously streaming on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube. If you're on YouTube, do me a favor, hit that like button. It should come up here in a second. If it doesn't, oh well, we tried our best. There it is. Hit the like button and, get the algorithm out. Normally, we also be streaming on Rumble, but for some reason, Rumble is down right now. I don't know what's going on Rumble. I tried to pull up, but it ain't working, so hey. I tried Rumble. Y'all got some technical difficulties y'all need to work out. So we usually be streaming on Rumble as well, but today it's down. It's not working. Something's wrong. I don't know. They might be under attack. Who knows? But if you want to contribute to today's show, right there's the Cash App and the Venmo. Cash App, Daniel2888. Venmo is Danny-Daniel-00. In today's show, we have our topics for you for fitness, the economy, and AI. For fitness, we're going to go over something a little bit different. If you know anything about the big, huge, strongest man guy, his name is Eddie Hall. I'll show you a picture here in a little bit. He had a situation a couple days ago where some people rolled up at his crib and parked outside of his place and caused a little disturbance. So, Eddie had to get on foot and make some threats and chase a mofo down. You know what I mean? They caught the last 30 seconds on, the people who was antagonizing him. But Eddie Hall has the whole video footage with his cameras around his home. So we're going to go ahead and go and look at that and see how everything is doing with Eddie Hall and his big swole self. And hopefully everything is good. There's no issues. There's no problems. But we're going to look over that for the fitness part today, since Eddie's power lifter or world's strongest man. So we're going to check and make sure him and his family is doing good, and no fools tried to mess with him at his place where he lays his head with his family and all that good stuff. But then we're going to move on over to the economy portion of the show, and we're going to look into the economy and see exactly what the future of the economy is looking like. We're going to look at what's going on with the tariffs, of course, but then we're going to look at how things are supposed to be moving in the development of the future for future generations. Because, you got, Gen Z and Gen Alpha is going to be coming up in these next, 10 years. I know 10 years, well, Gen Z is already in it. Gen Alpha, in the next 10 years, they're going to be entering the workforce. So, you got to kind of see how their world is going to look, and if there's going to be enough job stabilities, or if jobs are going to be there, and how, you know, the economic cycle is going to be panning out. Because, you know, Gen Alpha and Gen Z, but Gen Alpha mainly, they're growing up into a world of gender equality and man versus woman and all this craziness. So we got to see how they're going to be able to navigate the planes as far as the economy goes, because they're competing with jobs with AI, which something we ain't ever dealt with before. So this is going to be a new one. So hopefully there's enough jobs in the future for Gen Z and AI put together, because they're going to be dominating the workforce. And we don't know how it's going to look, if they're going to be competing with AI, working together with AI, or is AI going to be dominant on top of them. But when we get to the when we get to the AI portion of the show, we're going to look into something called technocracy. You ever heard of technocracy? Is that a familiar term to you or anything like that? It wasn't to me until recently. So we're going to dive into that, figure out what technocracy is, and see if it plays a role in the future potentially being developed, and if it ties in with how the world is going to be moving. Does technocracy have anything to do with AI? I don't know. We're going to see. It's going to be interesting to watch. It's going to be interesting to unravel all this, see how all this unfolds. But with that being said, you got to pay attention. Have your mindset strong, because we are going through a mind shift. It is a mental battle and a spiritual battle. We're all hitting at the same time. So your mindset got to be right. Take care of your body. Be fit. Always be fit. Be in shape. Keep yourself in some kind of healthy, fit condition. Because you can't think straight if your gut health is crap, because your gut is linked to your brain, and those two things, if they are out of whack, then everything else is out of whack. And then, you know, stand for nothing, fall for anything. And yeah. But anyway. With that being said, phone tripping. We good on the phone? Yeah, we're good. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and dive into today's show. We're going to go ahead and start with the very first one of the show, and what I was talking about. We're going to get Eddie Hall, big self, on the screen. Bam. And we're going to switch that banner up right now. Bam. And if you don't know who Eddie Hall is, it's this guy right here. I'll run through some stuff for you just so you can kind of see who he is. Eddie Hall is this gentleman right here. There he is. There's Eddie. Yeah, he looks extremely intimidating. He's a big dude. He looks scared, but he's really a nice dude. He's nice as hell. You know, whenever you... Oh, that's not Eddie Hall. Is that Eddie Hall? I don't know. We got cheeks here, but then we got... Oh, wow. All right. I like this gym. Okay. But anyway, that's Eddie Hall. So yeah, that's what we got right there. So that's Eddie Hall, and this is him right here. This is the video of footage that he has of the situation that he had of people pulling up at his crib, at his house, and he's going to explain to you that they've been sitting out there and what's all been going on. So we'll start out with this. This will be the fitness portion of the show. We'll go over this video. It's a 30-minute video, but we're not doing a whole 30 minutes. I kind of clipped it to the part where everything starts, and then we'll just stop it where everything finished, and we'll go ahead and have some commentary in between. So let's go ahead and get this thing started, get the show kicked off on the road, and Mr. Eddie Hall, take it away.
So this is at exactly 8:30 p.m. I'll show the timestamps in a second.
Damn, 8:30. It's bright as hell.
8:30 p.m. outside my house. So you see the car, a blue BMW X5, drive past my house. Okay, there's the timestamp, 20:30. Then followed by a black BMW, and then if you look on the left here now, a silver Ford Focus, I believe, pulls up outside my house. Now, that's innocent at first, isn't it? But wait, okay? So the silver Ford Focus parks directly opposite the entrance.
He said a Ford Focus.
The two cars that went past turn around and come back. This gentleman decides to get out of his car, check something in his back seat. I can't see any kids there, I'm sorry. But either way, he's got smoke windows, how would I know? Blue BMW X5 parks outside the entrance to my property. So if you wanted to get in or out of my property, you couldn't. It's blocked.
That's a no-no. That is a no-no.
Very shortly.
Yeah, they got my man blocked in at his own property. This is his driveway right here. So they got him blocked in. That is a no.
By the black BMW pulls up behind the blue BMW. So as you can imagine, Alex noticed this straight away. She's putting the kids to bed. She's in the bedroom. She sees, here's the engines. Looks out the window. There's beeping going on. And she sees these three cars. Okay, watch this gentleman now. He walks around. He veers into the property.
Oh no, buddy. No, sir.
Blacked out cars turn up, someone coming up
no.
property like that. What the fuck would you think?
Oh,
he then
no.
goes to talk to the owner of the blue BMW. So this happens at 8:30 p.m. Okay, engines running.
You know what I'm saying? You up here in America, out here in that South, walking up on some property, looking in, you're gonna get the old, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You're gonna get the old, you're gonna hear that. You're gonna hear that one good time. You know what time it is? Get back, get back. Yep, that's what it's gonna be. But I think where he's at, I don't think guns are a thing.
Beeping, cars coming past, squeezing in between the cars. He's left his car door open, the silver cars. People are coming past, they're beeping the horns. They're waking my kids up. Right, so we're going to forward to, 20:39 p.m. Okay, look at the car, the silver cars turn around. So this is 9 minutes later. The gates are opening.
They've been out there for a minute.
Goes outside to have a word. So Alex goes out with the dog, rightly so. 3 cars, blacked out windows, people waving in the gate. You don't know what the fuck they want. So Alex goes out with the attack dog, who, by the way, is very highly trained and 1 point and a word. Good night. So she has a word with these people, and from what she tells me, that unfortunately there is no audio on this section. It's too far away and they're too quiet. The only audio we capture is from the front door for recording conversations with people on our doorstep. Okay, so she goes out and she explains to them that, look, we understand your fans. We get people parking outside our house all the time. We had 2 other incidents.
That's not cool. People parking outside your house all the time because you're fans. That's not cool. I don't think. Well, I mean, people do this stuff, because you had a rapper who actually shot somebody who hopped on a property of his house. So people do this stuff. I don't know why. And 8:30, putting the kids to sleep, and you got all this going on. We got to shut this down.
Earlier this day. Luckily, we just say, look, it's a private home, they was alone. They go. No qualms. They just understand. You say it and they're like, sorry, bye. These guys didn't want to leave. Okay, so Alex goes out, she explains to them, come on, like this is like my kids are trying to get to sleep. You've been out here 9 minutes, you've been revving your engines, there's been cars beeping. Can you please leave? Can you just move on, please? Okay, and apparently the woman was quite argumentative. Just saying to Alex, like, this is a public road, we'll sit where we want, blah, blah, blah. So Alex then comes back in with Wolf, as you can see here. Okay, so...
it's a big old dog. Yeah, that's a big old attack dog for you right there, boy. Yeah, you look, and she barely halfway cracked her window. That was a smart move on her behalf.
So 2040, so they've been sat outside the house exactly 10 minutes. Alex has had a word, she starts walking back in. Let's play from there. We thought, you go down and have a nice word, very polite. We thought, Alex thought they'd move on, done. They'll understand, it's a private home, don't harass us here. We're going to swap angles in a second. Okay, so on face value, it looks like they moved away from this angle, but wait, there's more angles, just wait, okay? So Alex, up the steps, and this is where we've got audio, okay? This is the only audio we've got recording outside. You can't
now we got audio.
Down at the driveway, but you can hear shouting. Listen to this and watch the subtitles.
We have got cameras, so we will be taking your exit. Keep moving. Yes, I know, but you're sitting outside our gates like a weirdo, love. Move on.
So Alex quite clearly says, we will be taking your edges, keep moving. Now look at the response here in the yellow writing. It's a public path, we can do what we want. Yes, I know, but you're sitting outside our gates.
Nah.
Like a weirdo. Love.
That's what time it is, buddy.
Rightly so. It's weird. Who the does that? Who the does that? How intimidating is that?
I mean, 3 cars roll up at 8:30, putting the kids down. It's bright as hell to be 8:30. Jesus, it is super bright. But yeah, but still 8:30. Can't have all 3 of y'all post up. One dude get out looking inside of the property and stuff like that, stepping on the grass, looking in like, nah, buddy, that's not what we're doing here. Back it up.
It's this that triggers me. So Alex has obviously had a quiet word down there. They've moved to the other side of the gate. She's come up. She's got more. Like, come on, She just wants to go in and relax.
So basically, they moved out of the way of the driveway, but they still in front of their house. So yeah, that's. I mean, I don't understand the point of this. People ain't got nothing to do.
Kids to the bed, sit down, have a cup of tea, and chill out. Okay, bank holiday Monday, 9 o'clock at night. What's her response? No, we'll stay. Okay. Timestamp, bottom right there, is 20 to 9. And you can see the cars. It looks like they move away, but we're going to swap angles now. You'll see in a second. So this is moving away from the property. 2 doors down. Just for reference,
2 doors.
Big houses on the street, and if they were 2 doors down, they would be literally 100 meters down the road. That's what he said in this comment. They were 2 doors down, sitting outside the gate, other side of the gate. Okay, so you can see
you're not very far.
Blue BMW X5
you can still see him.
just the other side of the gate. The Ford Focus, silver Ford Focus, is parked in the middle of the road.
I mean, look at this, bro. They are literally blocking the entire street. That right there seems like you trying to do something. Like first you block my driveway, then both of your cars get in the middle of the street and block the road off. Like at this point, at this point, it's like, yo, what else do you expect me to think? You know what I mean? You're like, y'all don't want to move, you don't want to leave, and you block off the street where like barely a car could get around you. And there's a third car over here somewhere, because remember there was 2. It was a blue, it's this one, there was another one that was up here somewhere. So it's 3 cars, we just can't see the third one, but they are blocking off the road. So I don't understand what this is. This is pretty ridiculous, to be quite honest.
And the black BMW is just in front of the blue BMW. Okay. So this was at 20 to 8. So let's see how long they wait outside the house even more. Okay, you can see here, 20:47. So they've been sat on the other side of the gate for a further 7 minutes. Now this...
How long?
On the other side of the gate for a further 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
Now this, at this point, I am sat in the garden with my son, just enjoying the fire pit, and I was getting ready to go pretty soon, you know. And I've got to go work. And she comes and explains to me exactly what happened. She came and asked me to leave nicely. She told them to leave a bit more abruptly. And then they sat outside the house for a further 7 minutes. I check the CCTV very quickly. I see what's happened. So I go down, no nonsense. I'm not there to have conversations. The black BMW in front of the blue BMW, I just go straight up to that car and I say, look, buddy, I don't care what you're here for. You've been asked to leave. F off. I don't want to hear it. Just f off. He tries to argue with me about something. I can't remember what he said. But the door opened, and it was like, I was just like, mate, like second warning now. If there's a third warning, it's going to get nasty. Just f off. I closed his door. I then walked towards the silver car, and as I'm walking towards the car, I'm like, mate, just f off. Now, as I do that, he actually is like, okay. And he moves and he parks adjacent to the black BMW. So he moves in front of the blue BMW to the parallel with the black BMW. I then, as you can see in the video, walk up to the blue BMW X5, and that's when the altercation starts.
Okay, so now so now this is the one that had the girl in it, the one that was arguing with the girl. So he's on, and remember, they steering wheels are on the wrong side of the car. If you're an American, the steering wheel is on the wrong side, or the passenger side, I should say. So I don't know who he's talking to on this side. I think he would be talking to whoever the passenger is. I don't know who the passenger is, a dude or a chick or whatever.
So I want to talk about that conversation a little bit, because you've got to bear in mind, they've been outside the house at this point. Let me just forward on here, 20:47:43, so nearly 18 minutes. At this point, they've been outside my house 18 minutes, and you can see that blue BMW is still sat there, and that's when I'm having this argument with this blue BMW guy. Okay, so, and again, I don't care what they've got to say. It's 9 p.m. at night. I just want to switch off and relax and go home.
True.
I just say to the guy, look, I don't care what you're here for. Just, and he's like, what? I'm like, mate, just off. You can see the aggression in his face. He's proper like scowling at me like, just like, how dare you talk to me like this? And I'm like, mate, I don't care what you're here for. Just f off, just drive away. Just leave me alone. He then goes on to say something like, I just want a picture with my kids. And that's when it clicked that there was kids in the car. That's the first time.
Aw, these fools up here with their kids. I just want a picture for my kid. You're at the man's house, bro. Like that's not the way to get a picture for your kids. I mean, no, you came up here to get a picture for your kids. I'm putting my kids to sleep, getting ready to relax for the rest of the day. To be quite honest, the way you're doing it is, that ain't the way to do it, bro. That's just not it.
There was kids in the car, and I was like, I don't fucking care, mate.
Exactly. He said, "Fuck them kids." Exactly. I don't care, mate. Like, the way you came about this was the wrong way. To hell with your kids, because you don't care about mine. And if you're trying to get a picture with your kids, why the hell you roll 3 cars deep? This don't make no sense. Like, seriously, at this point, like yes, fuck you and your kids, because you don't roll 3 cars deep at somebody's house as a fan and park outside their driveway and argue with the wife and husband. Like, no, this ain't it. So I agree with him. Yeah, he's like, I don't give a fuck off.
Watching strangers lurk around their home. So I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. What about my kids? Just fuck off. I think I kept saying it 3 or 4 times. Just fuck off. Just fuck off. Just fuck off. And then he starts to crawl away very slowly. He's got this horrible mean look on his face. And he went, I'm going to knock you out. And I just saw red. I'm sorry. I saw red.
Oh, don't be sorry.
So he's been at my house. He's been outside the property 18 minutes.
That's a long time.
There's harassment, stalking, revving engines, beeping horns. It's just, come on, man, you don't do it. I was so angry. And when he said that to me, I'm going to knock you out, I was like, come on, then, get out the car. And obviously I saw red. I chased him a little bit. Well, not chased, I walked after him just to make sure he'd go. And then I turned to the black BMW, which is the one who was filming, Callum. Saw he was filming, and I thought, oh, God, the bastard. So I ran at him. I was just going to grab his phone and throw it in the bush. That was my intention. Didn't want to hurt him, didn't want to damage the car or anything. And I ran at the car, and I didn't even touch the car. It was literally like he just sped off, and off they went. And then they continued filming me from up the street, saying I've upset the kids, and I've tried to grab him, and all sorts. So it's just
screw your kids.
Bullshit, man. Like, that's the truth. That's what happened. You can see by the conversation that Alex had with them. It was just like a f you attitude. We're here. We're not leaving. Like, come on, 9 p.m. night on a bank holiday Monday. Okay.
Exactly. That's ridiculous. It's 9 o'clock at night, 8:30, 9 o'clock p.m. in the evening, and you choose to do this. Y'all ain't like, go put your kids to damn bed at that time. Like, your kids should be winding down for sleep at that time. What are your kids doing up riding the back seat and y'all rolling 3 different cars to go take a picture of? Like, no, that's not it. No, sir. I mean, and like I said, in Texas, or well, anywhere in some places in America, where you're able to carry the story would have been quite different. It wouldn't have worked out that way. But then again, if they're in the street, it's not much you can really do. But it's just the way they handled that situation. Those people who pulled up in front of his house, that's just terrible. That's tacky. You got your kids in the car, but he has his kids in the house. So you're like, we just want a picture. Well, then you should have said that to the wife when she came out. And if she would have said yay, cool, or no, respect the decision and move on. But, some people, the movie Idiocracy is coming to life, unfortunately.
I have an interview with the police tomorrow on this matter. And this is after he was saying to his pals that basically I hit him in the jaw and damaged his car. Just complete lies. And then I think this Jade, can't say the second name, I'll blur the second name out. As for beeping whores, none of us beeped other than a car that went past us. I mean, that, like, even if it was just that, right? You are blocking the road, your cars.
What did he say? We didn't cause it come a nuisance as a family. I wouldn't like that my son was hoping bump into you several times at the local pub Seabridge, but you weren't there, and by off chance check to see if we saw you. Why not approach with manners rather than biting? He watches your videos all the time. You come across as people's idols. Wow. Like, nah, bro, that's not it. Like, no, approach with some manners. The audacity. The audacity to pull up at my house and expect me to approach a stranger with manners when you're blocking my crib and my wife came out and told you to ask you nicely to leave and you argue. Nah, man, nah. That's ridiculous. That's not it. That's not it. Like, no, you just wanted something. Like, not you. You wanted something more than a picture. Like, you were trying to get a reaction. You already said it. Got an interview with the police. Like, you're over here trying to get some kind of money out of it. Probably, you know, you're broke and you're trying to get money out of somebody is what it seems like. You're trying to get a raise out of somebody since you knew where you lived and what this happened a few days ago. So the beginning of the first of the month was just a few days ago. So you might be trying to make rent.
I mean, that, like, even if it was just that, right?
Appreciate the follow, Tay. I don't know how to say that, but I'm gonna say Tay.
You are blocking the road. Your car's open. You've got a car in one side, one in the middle. One's got the door open. Cars are coming past, beeping the horns. That's causing a disturbance. That's waking up the kids. Even if it was that once, which it wasn't. It was more than once. Okay, we didn't come to cause a nuisance. As a family, I wouldn't like that my son was hoping to bump into you several times at the local pub, Seabridge, but you weren't there. And by off chance, check to see if we saw you. Why not approach with manners rather than biting? He watches your videos all the time, come across as people's idols. Wow. Well, firstly, Jade, I want to massively, and I mean massively, apologise for upsetting your children. I don't condone that. If I knew from the instance that there were kids...
You didn't upset the children. There ain't no need to apologize. I mean, the parents, adult to adult, they should have known how to handle that situation. Like, you got kids at home too. You don't do that. That's not something you apologize for. You don't apologize for that. Not at all. Like, you have no reason to apologize. Then people came at you the wrong way and they were dumb enough to have their kids in a car claiming that they wanted. Why didn't you say that to the wife when she was out there? You should have said that to the wife. You should have. I mean, first of all, you shouldn't have showed up and then the way you did and blocked the driveway off and looked in the property, and you shouldn't have did that. But anyway, since it happened and you were there and the wife came up, you should have told her, like, hey, sorry to bother you. Our kids are here. We just wanted to take a picture with Eddie, blah, 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 blah. But 3 cars? That's the problem. Like, it don't take 3 cars to do that. So this whole situation is fishy and off, and they some liars. They terrible people.
It's in the car. I would not have acted that way in a million years. But I didn't know that. I thought it was 3 cars full of people just harassing me. I didn't know that. So I am sorry. I did not mean to upset your children. And to be honest, I didn't mean to upset you guys. I just wanted you to leave me the f*** alone. If you want to get a picture with me, I am out in the street loads, and I never say no to kids. Never. And you've got to appreciate, you think you're the only people to come to my properties and ask for pictures and autographs? Do you think you're the only ones? Because you're not. You are the 3rd person that day. So,
oh wow,
put yourself in my shoes.
3rd person that day. Man, that sucks. Yeah, I would say it's time you have to move. Yeah, because people know where you live. Fans just pull up on you. Like, you're gonna have to like go out somewhere in some isolation or something to where nobody can find you or get to you. And be in a country where you can carry like a skitty pop, so if somebody does get on your land from way down yonder and they pull in that driveway, you could already set off a warning shot. Make sure you got the no trespassing sign up and let them know. And if they do, then, well, you shouldn't have showed up unannounced.
For a split second, you're sat at home, you're watching TV, your kids are in bed, and someone comes up outside the black windows beeping the horn. 3 cars, in fact. Sat right outside your house, beeping the horn. Car engines revving. You go outside, you ask them to leave. They don't leave. What would you do? What would anybody do in my circumstances? I am only a human being at the end of the day.
Mr. Eddie Hall, we greatly appreciate you, and I'm glad that your family and everything is safe and nothing transpires out of that situation. So we're glad that nothing, I mean, that was a 3rd people that day, but I guess that was the one that actually, you know, tipped the scale with the amount of disrespect that they did. So hopefully everything is cool and nothing comes of this, man. But shout out to him, man. Shout out to him. Yeah. Shout out to Mr. Eddie Hall, the Bees, man. Glad him and his family is safe. Nothing transpired. It could have turned ugly. It could have been really, really bad. And unfortunately, those people were just fishing for clout. They was trying to get something. And then you could tell, I'm talking about, we have an interview with the police. Like, bro, nobody cares. Like, the more important thing than the interview with the police is make sure his family and kids are safe. Just like your family and kids should be safe and should have been at home putting them to bed instead of camping out of a grown man's house and with 3 cars deep. That doesn't make any sense. I can understand if one car pulls up, I could get that, but 3 cars and one of y'all get out and start looking inside, like, nah, that's not it. That's not the way we move, and that don't make no sense. Nah. So, with that being said, man, glad that they're safe and glad that everything is okay and everything's cool, man. So shout out to them, and keep them family protected and all that stuff and whatnot, man. And it kind of sucks that all the fans know exactly where he stays. I mean, they can just pull right up to it. That does suck. 3 times in one day. I mean, that's just one day. Imagine a year how often that happens. That's crazy. Yeah. But anyway, let's move on to the next segment. What is it, tab or whatever clip for this portion of the show. We're going to go ahead and do the muscle of the day. Yes, the muscle of the day for today's show is going to be, what is the muscle for today's show? The muscle of the day for today's show is going to be the flexor digitorum brevis. Yes, this right here, flexor digitorum brevis, which is basically going to be the muscle in your feet. Yes, the muscles in your foot, whatever you want to call it. Your foot is a very complicated thing to deal with. As far as muscles go, they're very hard. And I was like, I had to sit down and actually figure out okay, which muscle am I going to talk about? Because there's a bunch of different muscles in here to deal with. And I couldn't figure out which one exactly I wanted to do. So I just had to kind of narrow it down and be like, okay, we'll do this one. This one would be the one to do. Because we also have the shout out to the anatomy lab. They're gonna actually show an anatomy of a human real life foot, as we always show, so you can see what the foot looks like from a dissected, no longer living human being's foot, but from a clean, scientific dissected perception of how it looks, so it doesn't look too bad. But I would probably say out of all the ones I put on here, the foot probably looks the worst. But we gonna look at it next. But with that being said, we pull this back up on the screen. So right here you have the flexor digitorum brevis, and the flexor digitorum brevis is one of the intrinsic muscles of the foot, located in the first superficial layer of the plantar inspect sole. So the function, let me see, what are we looking at? Yes, so the function is, the primary function is it flexes the proximal interphalanges joints of toes 2 and 5 and assists in stabilizing the arch of the foot during walking and standing. The origin is the medial process of the calcanean tuberosity and the plantar aponeurosis. Yeah, I said that right. Aponeurosis is a thick connective tissue on the sole of the foot. The insertion is going to be the middle phalanges of toes 2 and 5, and each tendon splits to allow the flexor digitorum longus tendon to pass through. So yes, that's basically what it is right there. And that's going to be your foot, and we'll let the Ken Hub speak a little bit on it, so you can kind of get a better idea of how it works. So we'll shout out to them, fair use. Hopefully, they don't give me a copyright, and we'll let them do a little bit talking on how this works. So here we go.
As you can see here, so this projection here is the calcaneal tuberosity or the tuberosity of the calcaneus. Also, the plantar aponeurosis will serve as an origin point for the flexor digitorum brevis. When it comes to the different insertion points, yes, insertion points, because you can see that distally, this muscle is dividing into 4 tendons, as you can see here, moving towards then the second, so this is the second toe, all the way to then the 5th toe. This video...
So there you go. So toe number 1 is your big toe, and then on down it goes, just in case you were wondering. So the next we're going to pull up right here, what we have is we're going to have someone actually show a human foot. So get ready. This one might be a little bit too much, I ain't gonna lie, but hey, it's still from Anatomy Lab, so fair use. And they're going to actually go and show us a a actual human foot, but you know, they do the whole dissecting and no blood and all that stuff, and you can kind of see the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, the tendons, and all that stuff. You're gonna see it with the muscle and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and just take a look, and we're gonna let them take it away and explain exactly the flexor muscle that we were talking about in the foot. So let's pull this up. Here we go, and take it away.
So I want to show you how cool the bottom of the foot is. Now we've removed the plantar fascia or the plantar aponeurosis. Maybe some of you have heard of plantar fasciitis, but we removed that plantar fascia so we can show you all of the intrinsic foot muscles here. There's a lot of different muscles in here, and let's just name one of them, like this guy right here called the flexor digitorum brevis. It's called brevis because that just means short, and it's the shorter of the two flexor digitorum muscles. The other flexor digitorum muscle actually originates all the way up in the calf, and it's actually this tendon right here. Let me grab it. That would actually originate all the way up in the back of the calf. But these muscles, the flexor digitorum muscles, would flex your toes, or in other words, kind of like people might think of that as curling your toes. So I want to show you how cool the bottom of the foot is. Now we've removed the plantar fascia or the plantar aponeurosis.
Okay. I probably won't be watching that one twice, but that right there is the muscle of the day. The foot muscle, the flexor. Oh, Lord. That's a big word. Where are we at? The flexor digitorum brevis is the foot muscle we were looking at. So yes, man, shout out to Anatomy Lab and Ken Hub for letting us use that. Fair use, by the way. But yes, that's going to be the muscle of the day. And next up, we have the sponsor for today's show. In case you don't know, we're going to go ahead and pull up the sponsor for today's show. And it's going to be none other than, you guessed it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh. That's a banger right there, too. Wait. Yeah, buddy. Yes. Ew. Yes, the sponsor of today's show is yours truly. Yes. And also, the song that we have on this workout video right here is a funky banger too. So if you're getting your workout in, be sure not to catch yourself dancing and grooving too hard, because yeah, you're getting some of this right here. You might not be able to get a workout. You might get a cardio session in, because that pocket is mean. You hear that? Yeah. Shout out to Upbeat for this one right here. I forget the guy's name, or else I'll shout him out. But yes, sponsor of today's show is going to be yours truly. So if you need any push day workouts, back day, leg day, core day, ab day, or whatever, and you cannot make it to the gym, feel free to go onto DnL&x Fitness on YouTube and click on the video tab, and you will see right there we have all workouts for you that we upload constantly every single week. So you'll be able to see exactly what's going on and see exactly what workout that you want to do. Nothing under 30 minutes long. I mean, nothing over 30 minutes. Everything stays under 30 minutes at home workouts. And I keep it in sets, just like the way you would do in the gym. You know, you probably have a number of 4 to 7 workouts that we do, and we do them in, you know, reps and sets all the way through. Limited break time, and you just keep going and push all the way through. By the time you're done, you're probably going to be sweating balls, because I know I do. And one thing that'll probably help you is turn the AC off if you're in the house to get the full effect of the workout. Get that nice sweat going on and all that good stuff. And, you know, keep it rocking, keep it moving and grooving. It's only less than 30 minutes of your day out of the way. You got your workout in at home, and you can keep it moving and move on to greater and greener pastures and go get some money. Yes, so with that being said, there's a sponsor of today's show. All right, so that's going to be it today for the fitness portion of the show. We're going to move on to the next portion of the show, which is going to be the economy portion of the show for sure. As you all know, the economy's got a lot going on. I mean, a lot going on. So, and it's really all mainly facing one of the things is the tariffs, and of course, how the future of the workforce and job force is going to be handled, or how it's going to be managed, or how it's going to look in the future, because we're going through a huge change in the way things are going to be moving and grooving, because robotics and AI are going to be a part of that. So, you know, we're going through that, you know, when things change, you got to go through that tension, that pull, that pain period before things kind of level out. That's where we're at right now. And that's what's going on. But you got to be able to see it and pay attention and understand what it is that you're going through in order to navigate. Because you had, what's that guy's name? Ray Dalio, where he talks about the economic cycles that we go through and all that stuff. He has those YouTube videos that talk about the economic cycle, which is something good to look at. But you want to kind of pay attention to it and kind of go in a little bit more detail, because we're adding AI to this economic cycle, which is something that we ain't ever dealt with ever. You can't look back on history and have an idea of how workforce is going to look, because AI has never been implemented into it. But you can kind of use it with computers in a way, with the .com bubble and all that stuff. But it's just not the same this time around. I just don't see it. I mean, you can't really put two and two together, but what you can put together is it's going to be a whole lot of jobs that's going to be lost. So for sure. Yeah. But let's pull up the first one that we have here for the economy portion of the show, which is going to talk about the largest port in the U.S. and is facing a 35% drop in shipping. So let's go ahead and change the banner before we move forward. There we go. So as you see right here, we have the largest port in the U.S. is facing a 35% drop in shipping, and we're going to see exactly how this is going to pan out. So let's go ahead and let them take it away and see what's going on. All right, so if you can't hear it, I mean, if you can only hear it and not see it, there we go. I'll go ahead and read it out to you. Before I do, let me take a swig of this. All right, we're good to go. So it says the Port of Los Angeles handles 17% of all seagoing cargo that entered the U.S. in 2024. I'll turn the music off. And the largest share by far came from one country. The port handled 120 billion in imports from China last year, and more than its three next largest trading partners combined. But the figure is set to take a significant hit. That figure is, and the U.S. has imposed a tariff up to 145% on all Chinese goods. Consequently, the Port of LA is expecting a 35% drop in the volume of trade. Jesus, according to its executive director. This could send tremors through the U.S. economy. One dock workers union has warned of devastating job losses as a result of the tariffs. Sheesh. The port supports 136,000 jobs in LA and 1.4 more in supply chains across the U.S. Last year, we saw a surge in the amount of goods entering LA from China as businesses rushed to stock their shelves before any tariffs came into effect. That surge may have contributed to 0.3% decline in the U.S. GDP in the early of 2024. If spending on imports displaced spending on domestic products and services, consumers are likely to feel the impact of the drop in inbound cargo. And as supply of some goods shrinks, their prices will rise. 94% of chief economists say global trade will grow increasingly fragmented over the next few years. Sheesh. While 61% say the U.S. economic policy is set to have a significant and long-term impact on global economy. Put this down here. How has your country been affected by the U.S. tariffs? Jesus. And that is coming to you from the World Economic Forum. Yes, the World Economic Forum. What they say usually goes. So whatever direction they say things are going to be flowing and how it's going to be moving is how things are going to be moving and grooving. So yeah, that's going to be something impacting and very, very, very strenuous that we may see. And it said it's going to send tremors across the U.S. economy. So we're only seeing the beginning of it. Remember, the ripple effect always takes, like 6 months to a year to feel. And then you'll start to feel the ripple effect of what it is that's happened like a year ago. So everything might be all handy dandy right now, but man, oh man, in a little bit of time, buckle down, because you're going to feel it. We all going to feel it. I mean, and it says this could send tremors to the U.S. economy. It could. More than likely it would. But we're going to see how this pans out. So just kind of be ready and prepare for that and on how things work. Yeah, that's going to be how those tariffs are going to be playing a part of what's going on. Now, another thing that's at stake, and this is coming from the World Bank. The World Bank also is speaking on the commodity markets and the outlook on the commodity markets and how things are going to look. And if you're wondering, if you don't know, but I'll let you know what a commodity is. Commodities are going to be your basic raw materials and goods and other things like that. As we have over here, we have, let me show you. Your commodities are going to be, can you see it? No, you can't see it. Let me slide it over just a little bit. All right. There we go. Up. Nope. Don't show my dolphins. There we go. Right there. You know what? Forget it. If you can't see it, oh well. Commodities are going to be your crude oil for energy sector. Be your crude oil, natural gas, gasoline, and heating oil. For metals, it'll be gold, silver, copper, aluminum, steel. And for agriculture, it'll be wheat, corn, soybeans, coffee, sugar, cattle, pork, etc. So those are going to be your commodities, and so just be ready for that. Soft commodities are going to be grown and harvested, often perishables like coffee, cocoa, orange juice, and sugar. Hard commodities are going to be mined or extracted, for example, metals and petroleum products. So those are your commodities. Now, what we have here is we have the commodity markets outlook. So what we have right here is going to be the global commodity prices are expected to tumble 12% in 2025. And an additional 5% in 2026, falling to levels not seen since 2020. Now, the commodity prices as compared to 2015 to 2019 average, as we see here, the nominal commodity price index versus the real price index. So you see the real price index is underneath, the nominal is up here, and we're seeing what they're projected, and they're both projecting to go down from 25 to 26 is going down for sure. So what we have also is the energy prices. They're expected to fall 17% this year to a 5-year low, followed by another 6% and drop something. Energy prices as compared to 15 to 19 average. So as we see, the price of energy is going down, and food prices are expected to drop 7% in 2025 and 1% in 2026, potentially aiding humanitarian efforts. So I don't know, but the food price forecast from 25 to 26 right here is we have the percent annual change. So the yellow is 25, the year 2025, and the orange is going to be 26. So you have grains, the percent annual change went from negative 10.5% to negative 1.1% from 25 to 26. That's the forecast of what they're seeing. So we don't know for sure, but that's the forecast what they're seeing. Oils and meals, we're seeing a negative 6.8%, 2025 and 26, we're seeing 0.3%. And in other foods, negative 4.6% to negative 2% in 2026. So that's what we got going on here as we're seeing the food price forecast of what they're potentially predicting. Gold is expected to hit a record this year before stabilizing in 26, about 150% above pre-pandemic levels. Jesus, like, wow. That's, you know what? We're going to give a clap on that one. So we have the forecast right here of gold's forecast that's going to be coming up in the future. So, they don't have the dates on here. Where are the dates? Oh, man. Go back. Oh, man, I didn't get to, I can't go back. That sucks. Well, it just basically said that gold is probably going to hit up to 3,400 is what it's saying. The predicted price. It started all the way down to like 2,000 or something like that. And then we're looking at up to as high as to 3,400. So, yeah. Navigating repeated commodity swings will require fiscal space, stronger institutions, and a better investment climate for job creation. And from this guy, he's saying that we are seeing the highest price volatility in more than 50 years. The combination of high price volatility and low prices spells trouble. Developing economies will need to protect themselves. Mr. Gill, successfully navigating through repeated commodity prices swings will require developing economies to build fiscal space, strengthening institutions, and improve investment climates to facilitate job creation. Mr. Coase. And then they have their sales pitch that they have going on right there. So as you see, they're looking at this volatility, this volatile market that's going to be swinging like crazy. They're seeing this and they're like, hey, this is going to be a bumpy ride. It's going to be like ups and downs, smiles and frowns, goods and bads, bads and goods. So they're not really too sure is like exactly how this is going to play out exactly. So they're kind of just saying, hope for the best, prepare for the worst, because they just not sure exact, because they're only giving you a forecast of what they think may happen. That can always change. Maybe by a lot, maybe by a little, but you never know. But you're dealing with a lot of people. You know what I mean? You're feeding people, you're dealing with people, bank accounts and food and clothes and all that stuff. So it's kind of hard to tell, but they're giving you an idea of what's to come in the future to kind of see and how to prepare yourself and what to expect. So it's something you should always look out for to have a good mindset moving forward. You need to know how to think and what you're going to be thinking about and what you should be focusing on and how you should be spending and keeping your body healthy and fitness. And if you can't go outside, get a home workout on yours truly on my YouTube channel. But with that being said, the outlook that they have coming into the future, which I found right here, the World Bank is going to speak on the impact that they have on the greatest development, and they're going to kind of give you a rundown on exactly what it is. And I can't find if I have the sound on or not for this one. Oh, there it is. Got the sound on. I didn't mean to like this video, but let's look at the World Bank. And they're going to speak on what they're helping to unlock the potential for the next generation, supporting jobs, innovation, and entrepreneurship to transform the economy. So with all that's going on, they're trying to figure out how they're going to move forward with jobs and stuff like that to innovate how the market is going to be moving forward. Because with all these different things happening, they're still trying to transfer over to robotics and AI. That's a for sure thing that they're trying to do. But you also have to understand that there's a new generation of workforce that's going to be coming in, and they're trying to figure out where they're going to put them or where they're going to go. So what we have here is we have a video from the World Bank, and they're going to kind of speak a little bit on that right here. So let me go ahead and pull the screen in a little bit so you can see it better. If I can pull the screen in, there we go. And let's let them talk about it. So here we go. Take it away.
The next generation of workers, entrepreneurs, and innovators are emerging from the developing world. A generation of immense promise. At the World Bank Group, we're working to help them realize it. Alongside our partners, we foster the conditions for growth and get the greatest impact from every development dollar. We combine insight, finance, and knowledge. We combine our own experience and expertise with knowledge from across the development community, so lessons and successes from one country are put into practice in another. And we just happen to be the world's trusted source for reliable development data. We help governments build critical infrastructure, advance practical reforms, and bring them together with business. That helps countries not just grow their economies, but transform them, unlocking jobs in the millions. Our financing is linked to real results, so every dollar delivers. Since our founding, we have turned $29 billion in donor investments into $1.5 trillion in real impact on the ground. Quite simply, we are the best value in development. For us, development is unlocking immense, untapped promise to create a world free of poverty on a livable planet. The World Bank Group.
Okay, so they're talking about having a world free of poverty. And my question is, when they say free of poverty, I'm always like, well, yeah, true, but for who? You know what I mean? And what's your definition of poverty? You know, I mean, you're talking about rich people here. Like, what do they see as poverty, and who are they really, trying to tailor to? You know what I mean? Do they see everybody as equal? Do they see the bottom half as slaves and how they can keep them working or not working whenever AI kicks in? Who knows? But they're looking into basically trying to provide jobs and stuff for the growing generation of workers coming up next. However, what we have here is what we have here is the World Economic Forum. They're going to be speaking on AI and how AI is going to be basically implemented and put into a way that, I mean, annually, they're seeing the global economy is going to see $4.4 trillion contributed from AI. So if AI is going to contribute that much, then you know it's going to be a part of everyday living. So if you're creating all these jobs, like we just seen, the innovation, you know, the government's going to be doing developments to, you know, infrastructure and things like that. Cool. Get it. However, if AI is going to have a $4.4 trillion global run, you can't ignore that number. That number cannot be ignored. So with that being said, who is really going to be benefiting from the future jobs? Are these jobs going to be benefiting the big, huge conglomerates of businesses, or is it going to help out everybody live a more, and like they said, poverty-free lifestyle? I don't know. It's a good question, but let's see here. What we have right here is the World Economic Forum, and they're going to speak on basically how they feel and how they feel or what companies would benefit from what's going on in the future. If the companies will benefit or if the people will benefit, and how the job force is going to work integrating with AI, how it still needs skilled workers to work these AI. So let's see exactly how the economists and the World Economic Forum assess the global economic forces and what they mean for policy, business, and society. So let's check it out.
2025 survey of businesses, 86% of respondents said AI could transform their work more than any other technology trend such as robots, semiconductors, or quantum.
Generative AI is making us rethink the concept of productivity. I think generative AI is making us think that productivity is more like producing better with less.
It's not just about the great tech. You need workers to be able to incorporate that tech and actually become more productive.
Okay, cool. But the question is, how many workers are going to qualify for that? Because it's not going to be all of the upcoming workers that are going to enter the job market. That's a no-no. That's not going to happen. So it's only going to be so many. So yeah, you're going to have the best skilled workers that are going to come in and work the tech. But from my understanding, this makes sense. Think about it like this. You're implementing AI. So don't you want the best of the best to work with your AIs? Because AI learns at a rapid rate, and it kind of learns, but why you would want it to learn from the best of the best? So you're going to get the best skilled workers to work the AI, but at the end of the day, that's not going to help everybody. It's only going to help a small few. So we'll see how that goes. Let's let her continue.
And if there is a chasm between the tech and the people, then you won't get the productivity enhancements that lead to a thriving labor force.
These experts explain.
So if there's a chasm between the tech and the people, how do you fix that chasm in between? Yeah, so those are experts, by the way. Those are experts speaking. Remember that. Remember that word, experts. Okay? Just remember, we're looking at experts speak on the best move for jobs and AI and infrastructures and things of that nature. Remember that we are looking at experts who we are dealing with in the future of how the economy and society needs to be ran, and trying to figure out a good way to do this. Now, with that being said, not every expert sees things, the same way. Some experts are kind of like, look, let's just keep it frank. And we got this one here, as we all know. For those of you who may or may not know who this guy is, if you've been living under a rock, we know who this guy is. And this guy right here comes right in and says, look here, AI and jobs. And he comes right out and says it. Bill Gates predicts 2-day work a week as AI set to replace humans for most jobs within a decade. Good Lord. The promise of less work isn't new. Back in 1930, economist John Maynard Keynes, ain't that the singer of Tool? John Maynard Keynes? I'm gonna have to look that up. He predicted that we'll be working just 15 hours a week by 2030. Jesus, that's right around the corner. But here we are in 2025, grinding more than ever. Now, so what happens? Well, Capitalism kept scaling, more production, more work, more demand for labor. Technology boosted productivity but didn't cut hours. Instead, it fed growth. Okay? So now enters AI and robotics. For the first time in human history, machines won't just assist us, they'll replace us in nearly every single task, better, faster, and cheaper. Jesus, that right there is a problem. White collar, blue collar, no job is off limits, so everybody can get it. Now, remember what the last lady was saying. She said, you know, you need the skill, you need the human skill in order for the tech to do its best. Cool, but you're not going to need that many people to help with the tech. It's going to be less people and more tech. So the job is going to be obscured. But let's continue. Let's see what we got. Whoops, I went too far. Why this time could be different? Well, unlike past tech waves, AI doesn't just make you more efficient, it makes you optional. Jesus Christ. But the big question remains, how will we fund a society if jobs vanish? That's a good question. What happens to our sense of purpose? Are we ready for radical leisure? A future of freedom or friction is the question. Bill Gates' vision of a 2-a-day work week could become real, but only if we reimagine the entire system from taxes to meaning. Interesting. Follow for more. All right, so what he said right here, where is it? He said right here, having a 15-hour work week. Okay, cool. If having a 15-hour work week is something that's going to happen, who's going to be working the 15-hour work week? I don't think it's going to be AI, because they said right here, AI won't just replace us. AI won't just assist us. They'll replace us in nearly every task, better, faster, and cheaper. So therefore, if you can do better, faster, and cheaper, you're probably going to make them work longer. So who's going to be doing the 15-hour work week? Probably the humans. And that's where you lead to this question right here. How will we fund society if jobs vanish? What happens to our sense of purpose? And are we ready for radical leisure? Exactly. How do you prepare for radical leisure? Well, who's going to be in radical leisure? Probably the humans who are going to have 15-hour work weeks. And and he's saying that we're going to have to reimagine the entire system from taxes to meaning. So what's the meaning of the system? And the system is a huge system based off of taxes. Who are you going to tax? Because now you're taking away the taxes from people who work 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 hours a week. And now you're cutting it all back to 15 hours. You're going to have to actually reimagine how the system is going to work and what it's built for if you're cutting the taxes. Because now you're cutting the government taxes, and taxes is one of the biggest ways government makes money. It's one of the biggest ways. So what does that say for the government? That's a good question. So we're going to have to figure this out and see exactly how this plays out. Now, this is going to segue us into the next portion of the show. The next segment is going to be the AI segment of the show. So with that being said, let's go ahead and slide over to AI. Yes, let's slide over to the AI portion of the show. All right, so now what we have here is we have this guy right here. Where we at? Boom. Let's change that banner real quick. AI. So now we have this guy. So with everything that we talked about, everything that's been said, we got this gentleman right here. And to kind of go over what we just talked about with the economy, let's try to figure out what it would look like if we had to reimagine a world with humans doing 15-hour work weeks and having to reimagine a life of less taxes and meaning, and with AI predominantly in production. Because remember, the experts gave us their opinion. Well, let's hear out what this, not new, this thing has been a thing, but let's see if it sounds like something that we're gearing towards the future. Here we go.
Have you ever imagined a world run by scientists and engineers instead of politicians? Welcome to the concept of technocracy, but what exactly is it? Technocracy is a system of governance where decision makers are selected based on their expertise in science, engineering, and technical knowledge, rather than political affiliations or parliamentary skills. Think of it as governance by the most knowledgeable, not the most popular. The idea of technocracy gained traction in the 1930s during the Great Depression, when faith in traditional politicians was low and people believed that scientists and engineers could solve economic problems more efficiently. Pros of technocracy include rational decision-making, efficiency, and focus on sustainable development. However, cons could involve a lack of democratic input, potential disregard for individual or ethical concerns, and the challenge of deciding who qualifies as an expert. Does the idea of technocracy sound like a dream come true or a potential nightmare? Let us know.
Well, let's see here. Let me go ahead and just give you the all right, so let's go ahead and break this video down. Let's break this down real quick. We're gonna listen to it one more time, but let's break it down. It's only a minute long. Let's just break it down and let's see what we got. Here we go.
Have you ever imagined a world run by scientists and engineers instead of politicians? Welcome to the concept of technocracy, but what exactly is it? Technocracy is a system of governance where decision makers are selected based on their expertise in science, engineering, and technical knowledge, rather than political affiliations or parliamentary skills.
Okay, so does that sound like, does that kind of sound like this right here? Bill Gates predicts, right? I mean, because he's not political. He's science and data driven. I would say not even science. He's data and technology driven. He's not science driven. He's, data and technology driven, right? Isn't this what this guy just mentioned?
Think of it as governmental knowledge, rather than based on their expertise in science, engineering, and technical knowledge.
Science, engineering, and technical knowledge. Wrong person. Doesn't he fit one of those? And he's over here speaking on how the world is going to look in the future. And he's even speaking on, where is it at? Right here. He's even speaking on reimagining an entire system from taxes to meaning. Now, I'm just going off of what is technocracy. If that's what he's explaining, well, it looks like this guy is fitting the mold potentially as one of the three categories, but let's let him continue.
Rather than political affiliations or parliamentary skills.
Rather than political affiliations or parliamentary skills, right there. But if we reimagine the entire system from taxes to meaning, so it's like, yeah, we not running with you political people anymore. Let's keep it going.
Think of it as governance by the most knowledgeable, not the most popular.
Now, keep that phrase in mind. Imagine it being governance by the most knowledgeable and not the most popular. We got to remember that. Remember that part. Governance from the most knowledgeable, not the most popular.
The idea of technocracy gained traction in the 1930s during the Great Depression, when faith in traditional politicians was low and people believed that scientists and engineers could solve economic problems.
Wait a minute. He said this was a thought back in the 1930s during the Great Depression? Wait a minute. Didn't I see that somewhere? Wait a minute. Back in 1930, promise of a less work week isn't new. Back in 1930, economist Jane Maynard, who I thought was the lead singer of Tool, predicted we'd be working just 15 hours a week by 2030, but here we are, 2025, grinding more than ever. So what did he just say?
More efficient people during the Great Depression. The idea of technocracy gained traction in the 1930s during the Great Depression, when faith in traditional politicians was low and people believed that scientists and engineers could solve economic problems more.
Doesn't that sound familiar? In the Great Depression, faith in who?
And people during the Great Depression, when faith in traditional politicians was low.
That sounds strikingly familiar. And what else you say?
and people believed that scientists and engineers could solve economic problems.
So what these people were saying back here, right? Where you at? Weren't these experts
In a
saying this?
2020
Right here. Right here, the World Economic Forum. Weren't they speaking on this right here? This is what they were talking about, right? This is what they were saying. This is exactly what they were saying. These experts were talking about this. Listen.
Of productivity. I think generative AI is making a thing that productivity is more like producing better with less.
What did he say?
More, and people believed that scientists and engineers could solve economic problems more efficiently.
Yeah. Keep going, buddy.
Pros of technocracy include rational decision-making, efficiency, and focus on sustainable development.
Okay, those are the pros. Those sound like really good pros. However, what are the cons?
However, cons could involve a lack of democratic input, potential disregard for individual or ethical concerns.
Potential disregard for ethical concerns.
And the challenge of deciding who qualifies as an expert.
Oh my God. Challenge on who decides who's an expert. Yo. Bruh. I'm just gonna say he's looking like an expert. Remember, he's looking like an expert. I'm not saying he is, I'm just saying, and there's a challenge for who an expert is. Now remember, let's go, let me find the definition to this. Where is it? Where do I have it? I have it somewhere right here. Technocracy. Yeah, where is it? God dang it. Where is it? Right here. It's a form of government or social system where decision-making and governing powers are vested in experts who possess specialized knowledge and technical skills, often in science or technology. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he's in the technology sector. There's one right there. You know, that's what this is starting to sound like. And it sounds like these people right here.
It's not just about the great tech. You need workers to be able to incorporate that tech and actually become more productive. And if there is a chasm between the tech and the people, then you won't get the productivity enhancements that lead to a thriving labor force.
So who are the people that they're talking about? Oh, I get it. The people who are driving the tech are the experts. There it is, the experts. So where is it right here? Where are the experts at? Yeah, see, right there. Right there. Technocracy is a form of government or social system where decision-making and governing powers are vested in experts who possess specialized knowledge and technical skills, often in science or technology. She literally just explained that thing right there.
Explain.
Experts explain. Well, oops, wrong one. What else you got to say, buddy?
Does the idea of technocracy sound like a dream come true or a potential nightmare? Let us know.
So far, a little bit, you know, I'm like, get rolled with or get rolled over, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? You gotta connect the dots. You have to connect the dots. You gotta pay attention because they don't hide nothing from you. Nothing's hidden from you. And hey, I'm not against anything. I'm just like, hey, understand what's going on. And here's from the actual website. Let's go to the actual website. The website right here. Found the website. Let's go ahead and just read off of this. Technocracy is a term first emerged in the early 20th century. Represents a revolutionary shift in the conceptualization of governance and societal organization, rooted in the belief that the advancements of technology and scientific principles could offer a more efficient and equitable alternative to traditional political systems. Technocracy advocates for a government run by experts rather than elected officials. This ideology, it proposes that the complexities of modern industrial society necessitates the stewardship of those with specialized knowledge in fields such as engineering, scientific disciplines, and resource management. The core premise of technocracy is that by applying scientific principles to the administration of societal functions, it is possible to achieve a state of optimal efficiency and fairness. Kind of sound like Elon in a way, don't it? Under this system, the focus shift from political maneuvering and partisan interests to the empirical management of resources and production. The technocracy envisions a society where decision-making is driven by data and systematic analysis rather than ideological biases or special interest concerns. This approach asserts that by leveraging the expertise of technocrats, professionals with a profound understanding of the technical and economic aspect of society, one can resolve issues of scarcity, inequality, and inefficiency that plague contemporary political structures. In essence, technocracy posits that the future of governance lies not in the hands of politicians, but in those of skilled practitioners who can harness the full potential of a scientific knowledge to foster a more just and well-organized society. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is. That is it right there. That's what they are going for. Yes, that's where we're headed. That's where we're headed. That's where we're moving. Now, with that being said, we have experts in these fields, and who is going to be juggling around all these experts and all this stuff? Because remember, the experts could look like the experts is someone in the field of science or technology, or what was the other one? We just had it right here. Experts are elected. Where is it? Where does it say science, technology, and I forgot the other one, but I'm not going to waste my time looking for it. But we get it. There's 3 places that the experts come from. Now, the experts are going to be basically like in charge of the tech. So, you know, they have the idea or they see the vision that they have, and then they kind of like push it on and let it roll on downhill, and they implement it into the technology, which is AI and robotics, right? All my opinion. I could be wrong. This is just me expressing my humble opinion. So, if that's the case, how what is the word I'm trying to say? How strong, how do I say this? How for certain, how strong, how accurate are the experts when it comes to dealing with the technology? There it is. How accurate, how strong, how poised are the experts are in dealing with the technology? Because, you know, you're going to have the robotics, you're going to have the AI, you're going to have the people. Everybody's going to kind of be working in tangent. We're making this shift or whatever. But the battle is, who is the expert? Because remember, this gentleman right here, let me pull him up for you. This guy right here, he said, what did he say? He said this. Oh, God dang it.
As governance by the most knowledgeable, not the affiliations or parliamentary skills. Technocracy, but what exactly is it? Technocracy is a system of governance where decision makers are selected based on their expertise in science, engineering, and technical knowledge, rather than political affiliations or parliamentary skills.
Okay, so there it is. It's governance on who is the most skilled in science and technological knowledge, right? Cool. We get it. Experts, your World Economic Forum, and you know your big technology tycoons and your big scientific tycoons. Cool. They're the experts at first. Remember, you're teaching robots. And when it comes to robots, we've already recently seen something go down with these robots. Here, let me show you a quick thing real quick. We have already seen something that happened with the robots, and that thing is this right here. Let me find this for you real quick. When it comes to robots, What have we seen recently that went wrong? Can I find it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is right there. Here we go. So we have this right here. We've already seen this happen with robots. Right here, a robot in a lab suddenly went berserk, marking the first robot rebellion in human history. Now, this is the first one. He's tied up to a little string thing right here, so he can only go so far, right? He can only go so far. And look, he's swinging, and they like, oh, look. These men don't know what to do. They don't know how to shut it off. They don't know how to get to it. You know what I mean? This is this right here. And this is the first one that we know of. We had a woman previously speak about one of these things. Well, I think she spoke on cloning, but for as far as robots go. So we just see this robot just acted up, right? Now, remember, if experts are going to be the one leading the charge in the future of this new way of governing that's going to be going on, cool. If the experts are going to be the one to do it, how long are the experts going to remain experts before this starts to realize that it's more of an expert than the experts? You know what I mean? At what point do we realize, what point will this starts to realize that it's more of an expert than the experts? Because it already said it right here in this thing that I read to you. Right here is where it said it. For the first time in human history, machines won't just assist us, they'll replace us in nearly every task, better, faster, and cheaper. White, blue collar, no job is off limits. That includes the experts. And if it gets too much out of hand, and the robot becomes the experts, who's to say that the robot won't end up turning into something like this? ChatGPT suddenly starts speaking in a horrifying demonic voice. Says right here, some users testing the voice features were startled when AI suddenly emitted a loud, distorted, demonic sounding noise mid-sentence. The glitch seems to occur at random, with AI speaking normally before abruptly snapping. Snapping, you say, huh? Where is it? Where is the snapping? Where is the snapping? Did we just see snapping? There it is. Right? They said that the glitch seemed to occur randomly at AI before abruptly snapping. Snapping, huh? Okay, cool. It's just likely a bug, but definitely a weird one and a creepy one is what they say. It's like, oh, really? It's just a bug, huh? Okay. So what happens when the experts get challenged by another set of experts? Well, let's hear how it sounds.
Let's convert 25,000 seconds into hours. There are 3,600 seconds in an hour, so 25,000 divided by 3,600 is roughly 6.9 hours. So it would take about 7 hours to download that 125 gigabyte file at 40 megabits per second. Wait, it's a perfect.
I was terrified.
Just a bit and a half. No worries, it's only good to double check. What
the fuck is going on?
To get a more intuitive number, let's convert 25,000.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, if that's where we're headed, and again, this is all my humble opinion of me just looking at things and trying to connect dots and seeing things for what they potentially could be and what they really could be, because nothing's being hidden from you. They're telling you. It's not they ain't hiding shit from you. They're saying it. And it's not hard to see that if the robot can potentially become an expert, and we just saw one abruptly glitch and start swinging and punching, and then we hear one speaking demonically, what happens when the robot realizes that it's smarter than the expert that's experting it? Well, y'all, that's it for today's show. Thank y'all for tuning in. I greatly appreciate everyone that tuned in. As I said, we were live streaming on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube. Rumble may still be down. I don't know, but we will be back over on Monday. So enjoy your weekend. Have a great weekend this week and be safe out there. Don't do anything crazy. It's Mother's Day week, so go buy your mother something nice if you like to, or go just spend time with her, because your presents should be better than presents. But then again, yeah, I'm not gonna say all that. But yes, hopefully she enjoys your presents over a present. But you know, women like gifts, so whatever. But with that being said, man, thank y'all for tuning in. I hope to see y'all next week. Be safe out there and be careful of driving on the roads, because police probably trying to get their quota up. So this weekend will be a good one to do it. So y'all take care. We'll catch y'all later. Peace.
Baby, I'm obsolete. Pockets chunky like cottage cheese. Real nigga, I just gotta be. Smoking weed that don't gotta sleep. Used to be a hustler prodigy. I love when people say they proud of me. I'm eating good, smoking broccoli. Taking over blocks like Monopoly. Only fuck the ones that's my policy. Most of these hoes trying to cause a scene. Like niggas mad they not on the team. See, I got bread, then buy the dream. The game gon' lie, and I got the keys like Jay. My fame won't stop, no, the only thing I'm chasing. The game gon' lie, and I got the keys like Jay. I plug your bitch like a 6 string. Jordan with the bitches got 6 rings. Smoke till my bitch